artist. Hey there, guys. Francis Undead here. So thank you again for joining me during this talk about, the limitations, the limits, the constraints that restrict our personal development, as well as our freedom of choices, and several several perks, several benefits, or the rewards we ought to receive from this life we are currently experiencing. So, first of all, I'd like to share some experiences of my own. So basically, I have discovered that there is a huge barrier that lies between our soul, our mind, and the real world. Which we tend to perceive as the real world. So to begin with, perhaps nearly each and every one of you guys has ever had this sort of deja vu feeling, or you certainly, or suddenly you got struck, or you got hit by some sort of uncanny uncanny feelings or perceptions of some sort of some sort of phenomena, or a dream sequence, or simply a nightmare that you had last night, but you can't describe it. You just know that you dreamed of something in particular. It can either be positive or negative, or good or bad. But most of the times, we tend to perceive, the dreams, the dream sequences that we can't describe as negative or uncanny. So when I mentioned the adjective uncanny, it usually means mysteriously uncomfortable. There is a negative, there is a negative connotation and denotations there. When we mentioned uncanny, when we mentioned something or someone appears or seems pretty uncanny. Yeah. So I suppose many artists, many scientists, many engineers, especially those super talented ones, they perhaps they also have some sort of high level skills of extraction crucial and critical information from their daily dreams, from their random thoughts that originated from their random pieces of memory fragments, based on their imaginations, though probably they managed to discover something particular, something peculiar by pure accidents. Nevertheless, I suppose I suppose though, yeah, humans can never actually create some something new, according to the book of Ecclesiastes. um, you know it says nothing under the sun is new. you know we humans can only utilize what we have received from God, what we can find on this planet called Earth, and we can we can we can never create something conceptually and entirely new. Since we always make we make do with most of the materials, with most of most of the materials we can find, such as minerals, such as lumber, such as furs, femurs, etc. So we we simply we we simply know how to make do with what we have, with what we receive, or with what we can find on this planet called Earth, or we usually refer, we usually refer it to, to the world we are currently residing in. So, yeah, I believe this barrier somehow restricts and prohibits and impedes our our potential for further development and growth, because we can we sometimes just can't you know precisely describe what we experienced and what we saw, and what we have gathered via auditory sensations or perceptions. And there are, like like I said, for instance, I once had had many uncanny nightmares about a terrifying scenario where I began to feel myself, or find myself being engulfed or devoured by some sort of darkness, or some sort of leviathan, some sort of monsters, or even some sort of aliens that resembles dinosaurs or leviathans in size, or in terms of appearances, or just in terms of mere and purely, uncanny feelings and subjective perceptions about something in particular, or someone in particular. Though most of the times I tend to encounter something too peculiar and too uncanny to describe during my dreams or nightmare sequences. So yeah, that's, yes, the barrier. A barrier, a barrier, or a dimensional break. I do firmly believe that, or a some sort of dimensional barrier exists between our mind or soul and the the actual world, the matrix we called the current reality that we are currently residing in or residing within. Yeah, so well, I don't know if I I can't, since I can't describe such uncanny phenomena precisely or accurately, and so yes, so we must at least acknowledge that um, God has predetermined our mission parameters here on planet Earth. We cannot, there's absolutely nothing we can do to alter the parameters of our destiny. At least for the majority of the populations, at least for those who are not chosen by God. Yeah. So, but regardless, I believe that's all I have to say for tonight's discussion about the uncanny barriers that exist between our mind and soul and the matrix, and and why and what makes me think that such barrier does occur in between these two entities, these two dimensions. So anyway, thank you again for watching and listening. Stay faithful, stay blessed, stay tuned. I shall see you on the next video on YouTube. Bye bye. Cheers.